Hey, this is me, Marvin, the one and only. Today I watched another Twilight Zone episode. In the Twilight Zone, the original series at least, it always makes you think a little bit. And it kind of basically uses science fiction to allude to reality. And so today's episode is called, what was it called? I just watched Nothing in the Dark, where basically this lady had been trying to avoid death for the longest time, and she actually ended up in an abandoned city building, living there by herself, shut out from the world, just to avoid running into death. She was so afraid of it, and she wanted to keep living. She felt that she'd rather be in the dark and the cold and still living than dead. And so there were a lot of different little, what's that word? Not anecdotes, but little stories and allusions throughout the actual show. And so at one point, this guy came and he said, "Hey, I gotta destroy this building because I have to make way for new things." And just like the animals, old animals die, they make room for the new animals to replace them. A tree falls down, a new tree grows in its place. It's just the cycle of life, And then eventually, it was like even people have to step aside after a time or after a point in time, and it kind of made me view and make you think a little bit more about death. Because death, a lot of people just don't want to die, because I guess we pictured this horrible end all type deal situation, and it is to an extent, I think. And I think also just, it's something you can't avoid. I mean, it's going to happen to all of us at some point in time, maybe not all at the same time, but eventually it's going to happen to all of us. No one really wants to think about that because everyone wants to enjoy life and whatever, all the things that life has to bring. But I think after a while, you're going to just live so much life to where you're just going to be like, I lived a good life. I lived a full life. I've done things I want to do. And I feel like I'm ready to go. And this body isn't made to last forever. And so you have to really make the most of every day that you get. And give it your all as much as you can and try to be a better person a little bit each day. And so you never know when it's going to be your last day. I mean, it's always pretty much a big surprise. A lot of people don't really get a big warning unless they know they're on their tail end, or like they have like a major disease or something like that. And so it makes you just think of life a little bit differently. And I always appreciate it whenever I can watch something or hear something or read something. And it makes me think a little bit. It kind of alters my perception just slightly, sometimes drastically, but just slightly on how I view life myself. It makes me be like, okay, I'm a little bit more grateful, or I'm a little more thankful now. And so I thought it was really cool, and I love the Twilight Zone. It's like one of my favorite shows to watch and just enjoy. And so this is me, Marvin. Oh, and to top it off, Robert Redford played the character of Death, he was actually a policeman, but come to find out he actually was Mr. Death himself, and making a point that, hey, I'm nothing to be afraid of. Just everything that you thought was going to come as like this big tear down, this big like boom, I'm dead. Actually, it's kind of more like a whisper, it's like it just happens and we move along. And so Robert Redford is still around today, a lot older now, but this was in black and white, so probably 1961, so that's pretty crazy. But yeah, that's how it kind of went down. So this is me, Marvin.